Council meeting will begin. Before I start the prayer, if we could remember those new KPD recruits that were just sworn in, that God will keep them safe. And let us bow our heads and remember that we are in the presence of the Lord. Blessed are you, Lord God of mercy, who through your Son gave us a marvelous example of charity, the great commandment of love for one another. Send down your blessings upon our police, our firefighters, and all of our first responders, your servants who so generously devote themselves to helping others. Grant them courage when they are afraid, wisdom when they must make quick decisions, strength when they are weary, and compassion in all their work. When the alarm sounds and they are called to aid both friend and stranger, let them faithfully serve you in their neighbor. We pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Councilmember DeFrances, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum this evening. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones, pagers, beepers, and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Under the consent agenda this evening, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of April 23rd, 2015. Item 2, approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. We have none. Item 4 is correspondence reports from the mayor, CAO, and department heads. We have none. Item 5 is acceptance and rejection of bids requiring an expenditure of less than $5,000. We have none. Item 6 is change orders requiring an expenditure of less than $5,000. We have none. Item 7 is acceptance of committee findings for final passage. We have none. Item 8 is re-subdivision ordinances for final passage. Item 8A is summary ordinance number 11,849, an ordinance correcting a typographical error in ordinance number 10,883 adopted April 9, 2015.
Motion by Councilmember DeFrances, second by Councilmember Conley on the consent. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda this evening, we have item 9, public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 11,833. An ordinance levying the annual tax millage rates for the year 2015 totaling 17 and 5,100 mills on the dollar of the assessed valuation of all taxable property within the corporate limits of the city of Kenner, Louisiana on the 2015 tax roll.
Motion by Councilmember Conley, second by Councilmember DeFrances. Mr. McConnell, would you like to let us know about this, please?
Yeah, this is our ordinance we have to do every year just to levy our property taxes, set the millage. We're setting the same rate as last year. There's no increase or anything.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, please vote on opening your hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
That's okay. 2 more votes, please, to open your
Council
hearing.
members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, you're in a public hearing now. Motion passes 7-0.
Sorry about that, Duke. I jumped ahead of myself there. Seeing no discussion, is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Okay, and seeing no discussion from the council, council members, please vote to close the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
And now we need a vote for passage. Council members, please vote.
Your motion is Conley by DeFrances for adoption, approval. Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to approve. Item 9B is a public hearing regarding Resolution Number B 16590, a resolution calling a public hearing to determine whether the structure located at 909 Curtis Avenue in Kenner, Louisiana shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Segur. Ms. Vallow, you have a presentation for us?
Please vote to open your hearing
Oh,
real
I
quick.
did that again. Sorry about that.
It's okay. One more vote to open?
Council members?
One more to open? One more. There we go. Motion passes 7-0 to open your public hearing.
Sorry, Ms. Vallow.
The structure in question is a one-story, single-family pile-supported structure bearing municipal address of 909 Curtis Avenue. The property is owned by Mr. and Mrs. Harriet Braun. On January 30, 2015, it was determined that the property located at 909 Curtis Avenue was unsafe and dangerous under the building codes for the City of Kenner, as well as Section 5-57 of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Kenner. Notice was sent by certified mail to the property owners advising them of the property and building violations. After no response from the property owners, a curator was appointed by the city. As of this date, the violations have not been corrected, nor have there been any attempts to comply. The city has been maintaining the property for several years, and there is currently an amount owed of $5,939.61 to the City of Kenner. The City of Kenner also contracted the services of an engineer, and it is noted by the report of the engineer retained by the city, who provided the following reasons of inadequate maintenance, dilapidation, and abandonment. Elevated structure on pilasters approximately 1 foot. Structure is abandoned. Southern side of the structure is overgrown with vegetation. Portions of the roof sheathing and rafters along the perimeter show signs of rot. Extensive termite noted around the exterior floor sills. Portions of the exterior sheathing have fallen off, thus exposing the interior to the elements. Based on the report of the engineer, the building poses a safety hazard due to the current condition of the structure and the surrounding conditions, and recommend the city take the steps necessary to declare it a public nuisance and have it abated by demolition or brought up to current city codes and ordinances.
And I believe we have a curator.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Sophie Rosado of the Rosado Law Firm, and I was appointed as the curator to locate Diane Broussard, wife of and David Turner. I ran an internet background search on Intellius for all of these defendants. I called all of the numbers on the Intellius reports for all defendants, to which I was not able to leave a message due to certain numbers not having voicemail capability. I was told I had the wrong number by one person that answered the phone, and they did not know of either defendant. I then mailed 7 letters to the addresses provided by the search. Of the 7 letters, all 7 were returned unclaimed. Mennonite letters were sent by the City of Kenner to United States of America Department of Treasury, State Louisiana Department of Revenue on August 7th, 2013, and Harriet M. Braun and AmWest on February 25th of 2015. A copy of those letters with returned letters certified receipt slip are included in my curator's exhibits. Not convinced the named defendants had been found, I ran an ad in the Times-Picayune on March 20th, 22nd, and 25th, but have not heard from anyone regarding this ad. To date, I have not received any other phone calls on this property, and my search is concluded.
Thank you, Ms. Rosado.
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Seeing none, a motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Segur to close the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Segur to vote on the legislation. Council members, please vote.
One more.
Is it flashing?
Mr.
Blinking?
Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 9C is a public hearing regarding Resolution Number B16592, a resolution calling a public hearing to determine whether the structures located at 413 and 415 Duncan Street, Kenner, Louisiana, shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Klein.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to open your hearing.
Okay, we're now on a public hearing on Resolution B16592. Ms. Fallow.
The structure in question is an elevated structure on pilasters bearing the municipal address of 41315 Duncan Street. The property is owned by Mr. Ernest Simon and John Moore, Jr. In January of 2015, it was determined that this property was unsafe and dangerous under the building codes for the City of Kenner, as well as Section 557 and others of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Kenner. On January 9, 2015, a notice was sent certified mail to the property owners advising them of the property and building violations. As of this date, the violations have not been corrected, nor have there been any attempts to comply. The city has been maintaining the property for several years, and there is currently an amount owed of $9,784.76 to the City of Kenner. The City of Kenner also contracted the services of an engineer, and it is noted by the report of the engineer retained by the city that provided the following reasons of inadequate maintenance, dilapidation, and abandonment. All utilities have been disconnected. Portions of the metal roofing material are missing, thus exposing the wood sheathing to the elements. At the rear of the structure, there is a tree growing close to the structure that is making contact with the exterior wall. This has caused the exterior sheathing to fall off, thus exposing the exterior wall to be exposed to the elements. Portions of the perimeter roof sheathings show signs of rot. Extensive termite damage noted around the exterior floor sills. Based on the report of the engineer, the structure is a serious public hazard and recommend the city take the steps necessary to declare it a public nuisance and have it abated by demolition or brought up to the current city codes and ordinances.
Thank you, Ms. Fallow. Ms. Rosado?
Hello again. I called all of the numbers for the Intellius reports for these defendants. The defendants that I looked for was Ernest Simon, John Moore Jr., and a non-interested party that was on the abstract. He's not the owner, but his name is Sean O'Neill. I ran the search for all three of these defendants and also called all the numbers on the reports. On March 19th of 2015, a lady called and said she received a letter sent to John Moore at 8841 26th Street in Metairie, Louisiana. However, she stated she was calling as she does not own the property in question and does not know who that person is. To date, I have not heard back from her. On March 23rd of 2015, I received a call from Sean O'Neill, who is the non-interested party or the non-owner. He stated that he was confused on why he received a letter from me. I informed him that I was hired by the City of Kenner and sent him that letter as he is listed on the abstract as one of the defendants to notify. He stated that he just paid property taxes to Jefferson Parish on this particular piece of property, but has no legal rights to the property. He began to ask questions, to which I reiterated that I was not his attorney and solely the curator hired by the City of Kenner, and if he needed to have questions answered, he can speak with another attorney. He then stated that he had an attorney, however, he would not give me that person's name or contact information, and stated the attorney was his friend and he was not interested in giving me the contact information for that individual. I informed Mr. O'Neill of tonight's council meeting and that he could attend if he would like. I'm not sure if he's here tonight, but he did send a letter as well to the City of Kenner regarding this information that he just paid taxes on the property. I then mailed 6 letters to the addresses provided by the Intellius search. Of the 6 certified letters, 4 were returned unclaimed and 2 were returned claimed. Mennonite letters were sent by the City of Kenner to New Orleans Aviation Board on February 25th of 2015, and a copy of those letters with the certified receipt slips are included in my curator exhibits. Not convinced the defendants had been found, I ran an ad in the Times-Picayune on March 20th, 22nd, and 25th of 2015, but have not heard from anyone regarding this ad, and those are the steps that I took to locate these defendants. So my search is concluded.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Rosado. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Seeing none. Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Klein to close the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Klein on the legislation. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 9D, is a public hearing regarding resolution number B 16593, a resolution calling a public hearing to determine whether the structure located at 1212 31st Street in Kenner, Louisiana shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal. Mr. Chairman, we've received a request for a one-meeting deferral as per the Code Enforcement Director.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Reyno for a one-meeting deferral. Councilmember Carroll, you want to, okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I'm going to be supporting this deferral. I'd just like to ask Ms. Vallard that to send to my office any documentation from, because I had an opportunity to speak for a spokesman for the family, and they're going to be participating with the city of Kenner to ensure that this process that they're going to choose to go forward with. And I'd just like to receive the documentations, such as if they apply for a demolition permit and all of the other activities from the utilities, that I receive that, so I can stay in the loop on this to be able to support them through the process.
No problem, Councilman.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember Carroll. Seeing no other discussion, council members, please vote on the deferral.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 9E is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 11,859, an ordinance amending the 2014-2015 operating budget to reallocate $61,726 from a vacant position in the council office to the Kenner Police Department and the Fire Department capital.
Motion by Councilmember Conley, second by Councilmember Impastato. Councilmember Conley, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, please vote to open.
Oh, I'm
the hearing.
sorry. I did that again. Council members, please vote. Okay, we're now in a public hearing, and you're going to speak after, right? Okay, is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on this? Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote to close the public hearing. Oh, I needed to do the motions first, huh? Council Clerk, did I need to do the motions first?
Your motion is motion by Councilmember Conley, second by Councilmember Impastato to close your hearing.
Okay. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilmember Conley, second by Councilmember Impastato on the legislation.
This is,
Got it.
what this is a savings from my budget from the line item. When I took office, I did not employ an aide, so I have some money left over, and spoke with the council, and they agreed to support me, as well as the mayor, to split this money between our first responders, the police, and the fire department to use for whatever they deem is necessary in the capital, in their capital projects. That's where this money's coming from.
Okay, we need a vote? No, we voted already.
If you could vote on
Need to
approval
vote.
now?
Yeah, vote on approval.
Yes, sir.
Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. Item 12A is summary ordinance number 11,848, an ordinance rescinding and repealing ordinance number 10,431, which approved the sale of lots 45, 46, 47, and 48 of Square 422 Highway Park subdivision in Kenner, Louisiana to La Muscata Properties LLC.
Motion by Councilmember Segura, second by Councilmember Reyno. Councilmember Carroll, you have, oh, we need to vote first, huh? No?
No, it's not a
No, it's not a public hearing. Councilmember Carroll, you have the floor. No? Council members, please vote. Oh, you wanted to? One more vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution establishing the Henry J. Polito Jr. Memorial Walk in Veterans Park.
Motion by Councilmember Conley, second by Councilmember Segura. Seeing no discussion?
Well, we'll discuss.
Sorry.
Yeah, basically what this is, at the last meeting, it was brought up about Mr. Polito. We're dedicating a sidewalk to the back. The administration asked me if I would put this on yesterday. I'd like to ask the mayor to discuss.
Sure, and this has been in the works for some time since Mr. Polito's death. I talked to his daughter, Missy, around the time of the services and told him we were going to absolutely do something to honor him. And I think it's very fitting that the walk leading up to the memorial monument of all the Kenner veterans that have died over in foreign wars, of which his brother is one, that walk will now lead to that monument.
Right. And I'd like to ask that all the council members be included on the submitted by portion to show that everybody up here loved and respected Mr. Polito, and I'm sure some of my colleagues would like to speak on it.
Councilmember DeFranchis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Ms. First of all, thank you to our mayor for moving on this so quickly. I've worked with Mr. Polito since I've gotten into office, as our mayor has when he was CAO as well as mayor, and I think we all have the utmost respect for Mr. Polito. We had, unfortunately, still have the utmost respect for the gentleman. And I am so proud to be able to support the mayor and Councilman Conley and the other members of this council in moving forward with this resolution. His family has lived in Kenner for I can't even count how many years, and they've always been an integral part of our community. And he was a lovely gentleman, and I respect him, and I respect them very, very much. And thank you, Mr. Mayor, again, and the other council members for the support.
Councilmember Carroll, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I too would like to thank Councilman Conley and the administration for this. Mr. Polito is a lifelong resident of District 1. Not only that, I attended Our Lady Perpetual Health School. He was part of the staff. So growing up as a young man, always admired him, always was someone who was supported through the community, at the school. And anything that involved Kenner, he was always part of and was proud to see it. So this is something that I believe is fitting, and I believe for his family, for Robbie, for Missy, and everyone else, and his wife. And I think it's a sense of pride that we're able to do this for our Kenner residents, and we look forward to this. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Segura, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'd just like to also echo my support for this. Mr. Sergeant Polito, to me, was one of my supervisors in my early days with the police department. And when he was traffic supervisor, used to give me a lot of heck because I didn't write enough tickets. So I do remember him from those days, and also some on his son Robbie, Missy, for their work with the city and all of these years that he's been involved with the Veterans Administration and the memorial in the back. So I think it is fitting that we do recognize him for this service. Thank you.
Thank you. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 11,850. An ordinance approving a memorandum of understanding between the City of Kenner and the City of New Orleans by and through the New Orleans Aviation Board for the design and construction of improvements to Aberdeen Street from Veterans Memorial Boulevard to the north boundary of the Louis Armstrong New Orleans International Airport, Phase 1 of the North Terminal Access Road Project.
Motion by Councilmember DeFrances, second by Councilmember Conley. Councilmember Carroll, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Yes, I just wanted to add something to this. On Tuesday, May 19th, at the Susan Park Gym, there will be a meeting with the city's administration, with the airport, with the FAA, and myself and all of the council people are obviously invited to this to be able to explain some of the things that are going on within the airport as it relates to the new northern terminal, and I believe, which will include the Aberdeen project. I think it's a great opportunity for not only the residents of District 1, but for the entire city, because we all are going to be affected one way or another by this project. I think it's great that we're going to have this meeting. People will be able to come out and ask questions as it relates to drainage and sewage and noise and pollution and Aberdeen. So again, the meeting is May 19th, Tuesday, Susan Park Gym, starting for 6 p.m. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to give my office a call, 504-468-7253. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember Carroll. Councilmember DeFrances, you have the floor.
I'm just going to make a couple quick points, and I actually need to speak with Mr. Gonzalez, if he doesn't mind for a second. I just want to put a couple of things on the record that we discussed in our meeting that some people have questioned, and we're wondering whether or not additional property, Mr. Gonzalez, would be purchased in order to make the improvements for the access road to the airport. Some of us know the answers, but I think the public needs to know that as well. Mike?
The improvements that are going to be taking place on the northern side of the airport consists of a two-phase project. They're both going to be ground-level projects, and there will be no need for any right-of-way acquisition whatsoever under this two ground-level phase project.
Thank you, and that was one of the main questions. I don't know about other members of the council, but I've been asked that numerous times, and I had a few phone calls to my office regarding that, and I just wanted to put everybody's mind to rest. And Aberdeen Street will still be accessible to the residents. Am I correct? Aberdeen Street is not being eliminated. New construction is taking place, but Aberdeen Street will not be eliminated. Is that not also correct?
Aberdeen is going to remain in place, and during the design process, we're going to work with the airport to find a way to make a connection from the four-lane divider roadway, which is Phase 1, which is the one that is under consideration under the next item, 15B, to make a connection between that new four-lane divider roadway and the existing Aberdeen.
And we're not going to go into more detail, but those were some of the questions that were, that the public had asked about, and so I wanted to put those on the record. The public will find out a lot more as we go on, but those are questions that people were, that not only they had qualms about it, to be honest with you, about what would actually happen. So I wanted just to put that on the record right now. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Council Member. Seeing no other discussion, council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 11,851. An ordinance approving an agreement with Digital Engineering and Imaging Incorporated for design engineering services in connection with improvements to Aberdeen Street from Veterans Memorial Boulevard to the north boundary of the Louis Armstrong and New Orleans International Airport, Phase 1 of the North Terminal Access Road Project, in an amount not to exceed $633,657.92.
Motion by Councilmember Reyno, second by Councilmember Carroll. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 11,852, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Sun Interiors LTD for a 2-year contract to furnish and install carpet tiles as needed in accordance with sealed bid number 15-6266 and an amount not to exceed $50,000 per year for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Impastato, second by Councilmember Klein. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 11,853, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from High Tech Electric Incorporated of Delaware to repair and maintain street lighting on I-10 within the municipal limits of the city of Kenner on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 15-6268 and an amount not to exceed $250,000 per year for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Segura, second by Councilmember Carroll. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 11,854, an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from DocuMart in an amount not to exceed $5,614.25 for the purchase of dance programs for the 2015 Dance Review in accordance with telephone bid number T15-2279 for the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Motion by Councilmember Klein, second by Councilmember Impastato. Seeing no discussion, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 11,855, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Notico Industries LLC for an annual contract to supply street light poles and accessories on an as-needed basis in accordance with sealed bid number 15-6270 and an amount not to exceed $150,000 per year for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember DeFrances, second by Councilmember Conley. Seeing no discussion, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 11,856, an ordinance approving the utilization of state contract number 409913 with ARCCO Company Services Incorporated with the purchase of stationary and towable generators in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Reyno, second by Councilmember Klein. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15H is summary ordinance number 11,857, an ordinance ratifying the United Healthcare of Louisiana policy and rates for healthcare insurance coverage for the City of Kenner employees, retirees, dependents for the fiscal year of July 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2016, as set forth in their proposals.
Motion by Councilmember Conley, second by Councilmember DeFrances. Councilmember Impastato.
I am now, okay. I just want to advise that I'll be recusing myself from the discussion and the vote on this matter.
Thank you, Councilmember. Do we have anybody wants to discuss this?
He's probably going to abstain.
Okay, council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Councilmember Impastato is abstaining. Item 15I is summary ordinance number 11,858, an ordinance ratifying the proposal from AMRISC LP for the renewal of commercial property insurance for the period of June 1st, 2015 through June 1st, 2016.
Motion by Councilmember DeFrances, second by Councilmember Conley. Seeing no discussion, council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15J is summary ordinance number 11,861, an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Louisiana Lift and Equipment Incorporated in the amount of $24,435 for the purchase of 3 trailer-mounted light towers to be used at special events in accordance with letter bid number 15-1534 for the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Impastato. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15K is a resolution accepting as completed for the contract with Professional Construction Services Incorporated dated February 20th, 2015, regarding the removal of the Laketown Wooden Pier for the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Motion by Councilmember Reyno, second by Councilmember Klein. Seeing no discussion, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance amending ordinance number 10,834, adopted October 16, 2014, to clarify the method for approving expenditures from the account created in said ordinance. Item 16B is an ordinance approving the utilization of Jefferson Parish Contract Number 55-14418 with 3M Company for the purchase of reflective sheeting on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually for the Department of Public Works. Item 16C is an ordinance approving the utilization of Jefferson Parish Contract Number 55-00014-634 with Truck and Transportation Equipment Company Incorporated for the purchase of vehicle equipment on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $75,000 annually. Item 16D is an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of lots A through E, 1 through 6, 9 through 20, 28 through 34, 50 through 55, and a portion of 49, Square 9, Hanson Place Subdivision, Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, into lots 10A, 15A, 20A, 30A, 40A, and 50A, in accordance with the plan of re-subdivision by Dufresne Surveying and Engineering Incorporated, dated February 12, 2015, revised March 30, 2015, and amending Section 2 of Ordinance 9118 to include metal fabrication as a permitted use, and further amending Ordinance Number 9118 by expanding the governance of the planned unit development to Lot 1-A-1, Square 10, Hanson Place Subdivision, as shown on the plan of re-subdivision by BFM Incorporated dated May 9, 2014, as well as lots 10A, 15A, 20A, 30A, 40A, and 50A, Square 9, Hanson Place Subdivision, PUD 1-15. Item 16E is an ordinance adopting the operating budget for the City of Kenner for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2015, and ending June 30, 2016, and providing for related matters. Item 17 is reports from the council and/or special committees.
Seeing none, council members. Oh, there's no vote, I'm sorry. Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business under motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. And item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Do we have a list? Okay. Councilwoman DeFrances.
Okay, it's on. Since we have a minute, I wanted to mention two things. First of all, I wanted to announce the grant for the Summer Youth Theater Camp. The camp is being made possible by the Kenner Recreational Department and will be held daily at the Kenner Exhibition Hall. Campers will be introduced to the arts and taught acting, drama, and basic knowledge of theater. Sessions 1 is from June 15th through the 26th, and Session 2 will be July 13th through the 24th. This is new and exciting camp that Kenner's providing, and it is free. And so free is always good. And also, applications are accepted on a first-come, first-served basis, and the deadline is May 29th, 2015, ages 9 through 15. And if you contact our Recreation Department, you can get more information. And I just wanted also to mention that the City of Kenner has received a grant to provide ham radio equipment for Kenner's EMCOMM team, which stands for the equipment will be given to will be operated by the local United States Coast Guard Auxiliary Emergency Communication Team. And if you think about it, ham radios were such an important part of World War II when nothing else was available. The ham operators came to our rescue. So this grant is really also a very important part of our total of the total type of way in which Kenner can respond to emergencies from now on. So I just wanted to quickly mention those two things. Thank you, Council President. You have the list by
Thank you, Councilmember DeFrances. Okay. Councilmember Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank Councilwoman DeFrances for mentioning the part about the theater. You know, the city of Kenner have a number of children who we are normally known for the sports, the major sports, football, baseball, and basketball. But we have young men and women who are talented in the arts, drawing, acting, singing, dancing. And I think this is something that we have taken the opportunity to be able to give them a stage to be able to show the talents that they have. It has been something that have been in the works for literally over 3 or 4 years with the Recreation Department and especially with the community development, trying to get the funding, trying to get the vehicle to present what we're going to have to do. And I think that I would like for Ms. Terrell to come up and to give a little bit of the history and to a little bit more detail, just in case people kind of missed some of the information that Councilwoman DeFrances said. I mean, actually, it was something former Councilman Donopoulos, it was his idea. I think it is something that is great, and I would appreciate if she can expand a little bit more on the project.
Okay. Thank you. Well, the exciting part about the theater camp, as Councilwoman DeFrances mentioned, is a new and exciting camp. This initiative is something to introduce low to moderate income kids to the arts, to introduce those that have not had an opportunity to attend a dancing school or learn instructions in drama or learn about singing. This will be an opportunity to teach them those types of talents. And who knows, the next time we see a movie being filmed in this area, we may see some of Kenner's youth in the movie. So that's the whole intent of the camp. The Community Development Department, through a federal grant that we received, have grants that we will provide for families of eligible youth to attend the camp. And so the regular price of the camp, I think, is $125 each session. And with the grants, we would pay for those kids that's eligible to go to the theater camp. The camp is open to all youth in Kenner. But those that are income eligible are able to apply to the Community Development Department for a grant. And if they're awarded a grant, then they in turn would still go and apply through the regular process with the Recreation Department. So I appreciate the administration and the council's support of this new camp, and I think it'll be something very exciting this summer to provide for kids that's in that age group 9 to 15. And that's another thing we wanted to do, was to try to tap into a program that kids didn't have to attend before. Our normal camp, I think the age limit is 12. Yes, it's from ages 3 to 12. This camp is designed for kids 9 to 15, so I think we'll get a good response.
Yeah. Thank you. And a couple of things. Something has been pointed out by Councilwoman DeFrances, that there is a registration fee that applies to everyone. Correct, Ms. Terrell?
Yes, thank you. Yes, there's a one-time registration fee of $30, and with that registration fee, you do receive a free T-shirt.
Right. And my next question is If
Thank you.
someone is interested in the program, do they go through the recreation department? Do they come to the community development? And is there a deadline that you have to apply to be able to, even have a chance to be part of it?
Good question, and because a lot of people are confused with that. It's a two-tier process. First, let me say it's a program that we have structured and that's being sponsored through the Recreation Department. So families that are not low income and are interested in the theater camp, those kids can apply directly to the Recreation Department for that camp. There is a certain number of slots and a certain number of grants that we have available to provide low-income families whose household incomes are not sufficient to pay for those kids to attend this camp, to attend the camp. So once you are awarded a grant, you would still register through the Recreation Department. But as I said before, the camp is open to all youth in Kenner, and they could apply directly to the Recreation Department. But if you're seeking some form of financial assistance and a grant through the Community Development Department, you would apply through my department for that grant assistance.
Right. And the deadline, did you mention the deadline? Or if there is a deadline, what would that
The
be?
deadline for the grant is May 29th.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And, thanks again for Mr. Maricola and yourself for your hard work. I think this is an opportunity for young, men and women between that, that 13 to 15 age group that during the summer sometimes they get kind of bored. And obviously this would be something that they, if they have an interest in, will be able to, spark something where, like you said, who knows where this can take them. So we look forward for the city of Kenner being able to offer this and all of our support on the council. And once it starts, I appreciate if you let us know. So
I will
you may
definitely
wanna
let
stop
y'all know
by
about
and,
the grand finale, because at the end of each 2-week session, the kids will put on a production. So they're going to learn some form of a production that'll be presented for the parents and family and all of us to come and watch what they've been taught. So
Okay,
it should be
and-
very exciting.
And
I'll
could
make
you,
sure
could you
y'all-
give Mr. Maricola's number to call in case somebody want to call the office for additional information?
Yes.
Or Mr. Maricola can
468-7211. And there's someone at the Recreation Department's administrative office accepting summer camp applications until 8 p.m. every night,
thank you very much, Mr.
Monday
Rowe.
through Friday.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Giordano. AJ, if you could.
AJ Giordano, 3518 California Avenue. As everyone pretty much knows, I've been trying to deal with these sidewalk issues for a long time now, since July of 2013. And the mayor, last July 2014, I had a conference call with the mayor and Mr. Gruntz, late Mr. Gruntz, and reluctantly, but the mayor agreed to start getting the letters of intent out to the owners with sidewalk repairs. That was in August 5th. Director Vallow was sent an email directing her about some addresses. I had given some pictures to the mayor, and he did agree that it was deplorable condition, and we was going to go forward with these couple of properties. She was given a directive on, and she sent it to me on August 22nd. I responded on September 9th and gave her the property addresses that they so requested. And here we go 8 months later. Properties are still the same. Nothing's happened. I don't even believe that letters of intent have been going out. I guess I'll go to you, Mayor, because you can ask your Director Vallow, but Mr. Mayor, is this a promise being unkept, or are we going to keep this promise? Are we going to go forward trying to, what does it take to get the ordinances and laws in the city enforced? So, thank you.
That's it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Al, hold on.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 43 years. I want to thank Commander Monty Briggs of my VFW Post 7732, the council, the administration for making 13A happen. Now, however, I do have a response for some comments that was made in here at the last meeting relative to this issue. I want to direct this response to the mayor. If there was any miscommunication, it was not relative to this issue. It was not on the part of 7732. And I want to say that VFW Post 7732, my brother members, are some of the most honest and sincere group of guys that I've ever been associated with. And I will take their word any day over any politician, any politician. Now, I'd like to direct, I got some comments for you, Councilman Impastato. At the April 29 Jefferson Parish Council meeting, you appeared briefly. The topic of discussion was the aftermath of the tornado that touched down in North Kenner on April the 20th. They asked you questions relative to the condition of the wooden utility poles back here. We understand that the wooden utility poles are the responsibility of Entergy. The metal poles are the responsibility of the city of Kenner. But you was asked what the condition of those wooden poles were and what kind of regular maintenance is performed on those poles by Entergy. Now, riding around Kenner on Two-Lane Drive, there are several wooden utility poles that are leaning, and they are leaning toward the back of the homes on Two-Lane Drive. I don't know if that's the way they're supposed to be, but I think it's certainly something that needs to be looked at. Also, on East Loyola Drive and West Loyola Drive, we got metal poles where the base of the pole, the concrete base, the soil has eroded away from the base, and those poles are leaning. You don't have a whole lot, but you do have some. So I think this needs to be looked into and find out what's going on with these poles before something like happened in the wake of, in the aftermath of that tornado happens again. Maybe with something not as catastrophic as a tornado. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Al. Next person that wants to address the council is Beverly Karras. Craze, sorry.
Okay. My name is Beverly Craze. I live at 29 Zion Street. I've resided there for 35 years. My husband is Ronnie. You all might recognize us. We try to attend all of public meetings. We're chronic voters. We consider ourselves good Kenner residents. We have 3 married children and 8 grandchildren. Our house is built on one lot. The next lot we purchased in 1981, enclosed the whole thing with an iron fence. It became our playground for Easter egg hunts, ball games, enjoyed by family, friends, our children. Now we have 8 grandchildren. I have a problem with a neighbor. 4 years ago, my neighbor that lives at 33 Zion, Violet Ertel, had her boyfriend move in, Gerald Arcement. And since he moved in, we've had problems with him. Some of them are very serious. I don't have time to go into them. My problem right now is we got tired of having him constantly watch us. So in January, we got a permit from code enforcement. We built the highest fence code enforcement would allow, 8-foot wooden fence. He had 2 video cameras, one down the driveway, one down the garage. The fence was finished at 11:30. By 1 o'clock, both cameras had been turned over the top of my fence. One faces directly into my patio. I have 3 French doors. My bedroom, my den, my playroom, all enter on that. That camera faces my bedroom French doors. We don't use it anymore. We don't even open the curtains. We are constantly on guard with our grandchildren. Be careful what you do outside. You're being videoed. Dominic's aware of this. My husband and I had a meeting with him. He called me this morning. He said he spoke with some other people. There's nothing that can be done. I called Child Services in Jefferson Parish, and they said, contact your local authorities and see if they can help you. Contacted Child Abuse, the state of Louisiana Child Abuse. I explained everything to them. They said, contact your local authorities. If they can go in and find out that he's videoing your grandchildren, get back in touch with us, and we see if we can move forward with this. You know, Mayor Yanni, you have a wife and a young daughter. I don't think you'd like it if you thought they were being videoed 24 hours a day by telescopic infrared cameras. And right now, we want families to move into Kenner. Kenner has so much to offer. We want people with young kids, but they might have a second thought if they thought that they could move in and have a neighbor direct a video camera into their private part of their home and be videoing their kids 24 hours a day.
Ms. Beverly,
I think this is a problem.
we do 3 minutes, and I kind of let you run over a little bit.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
That's okay.
This was difficult for me
Right.
to come here, and as you can tell, I'm nervous.
I know, but
I would do whatever I had to do to protect my family and my grandchildren.
Right.
I don't know what's being done with these pictures. Is it something illegal?
I'm going to let the council members and people that may want to comment on that to comment.
Okay.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank you for your time. I'm
Thank you.
sorry I went over.
That's okay. Thank you. Councilmember Impostata, you have the floor.
Just to advise my fellow council members of the discussion and the information that I related to the crazes, we did look into it. I spoke with the city attorney, Mr. Powers. They did advise, they've been advised by the chief of police, and I even consulted Councilman Conley, who served as a city attorney for 9 years. And there does not appear to be any ordinance or code in the city of Kenner or criminal law that would provide anything actionable on the part of the city of Kenner. So there really is, at this point, there is nothing that we can advise them to do other than, as I've told them, to take this up in a civil court of law under Article 667 of the Louisiana Civil Code and take those measures necessary to protect their interests. And so, just so you know, that's what I advised them. Mr. Powers and I discussed this earlier today and has confirmed that, in fact, my assessment is correct. We don't have that. There are other countervailing issues we have to be mindful of in terms of enacting, new legislation to that effect, not the least of which is the reliance that the police place on these cameras on people's homes. So there's some countervailing considerations that we would have to consider going forward, but I'm happy to participate in any such discussions if someone wishes to take that issue up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Impastato. Councilmember Klein, you have the floor.
It's on? Okay. I would suggest that you contact a lawyer. You have an absolute right to privacy in your own home and your yard. There's not a whole lot we can do as councilmen. There's not a whole lot Amy can do as code enforcement, but you can go to a lawyer and you can enforce your rights to privacy. That's a very cherished right that we have. You have to get the evidence that he's got the cameras facing in your house and in your yard. That's what you need to do. But we can't give you any advice as attorneys, although there's 3 attorneys on the council here. You need to consult a civil lawyer that can help you.
I do have proof. I have lots of pictures, which Dominic has seen. And
Okay.
I brought some with me today in case anybody wants to see.
Great. We'll bring that to your lawyer, consult your lawyer, and he'll help you. Unfortunately, it's going to cost you some money, but I think you can solve the problem like that.
Okay, some of the serious problems, which I didn't care to go into, and the fence, and then shrubs to block from the fence to the street, just to give us more privacy, my husband and I have spent about $10,000.
Well, there's laws against invasion of privacy, there's laws against harassment, et cetera, so you can consult your lawyer on that. He can help you.
It's going to take more money.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know if we could get some other type of help.
I think if you get a lawyer, you get some results, and those cameras will be changed.
Thank you, Councilmember Klein. Okay, I just want to make one comment for Mr. Morella. Just to let you know, I know people normally believe that utility poles are all owned by Entergy. They call those telephone poles also. And 40% of all of the poles in the city of Kenner, or about 40%, are owned by AT&T, not Entergy. So I just wanted to clear that up so that the public doesn't believe that every wooden utility pole out there is the responsibility of Entergy, just so that you know. And Councilmember Conley, you have the floor.
Since we're going down that line, I just also wanted to add that I've been in touch with Councilman Impastato, Councilman Klein, Councilman.
Turn the thing on.
I don't do that, but I'm going to pretend like it's on. I've been in contact with Councilman Impastato, Councilman Klein, Councilman Zahn from Jefferson Parish. The Monday night that the storm came in, there was some issues with the levee district and a right of entry in District 4. We are currently setting up meetings right now with Entergy. Public Service Commissioner Eric Scametta has put some legislation on through the Public Service Commission to make access to these poles a lot more easier for Entergy. So a lot of times it's not Entergy's laziness, it's their inability to get to the problem poles. So this council is taking corrective measures, setting up meetings with the proper people. They have multi-jurisdictional, year-long right of entries ready for Entergy for when they're ready to come in. Thank you.
Councilmember Impastato, you have the floor. Let's see if it's going to do it. Councilmember Impastato.
Just to address the energy issue in the Jefferson Parish Council meeting very briefly, that was a very accidental conversation, candidly. We were at the Jefferson Parish Council meeting where my father was being honored by the Jefferson Parish Council. Happened to be there to see him receive an honor. It just so happened it was the Wednesday after the tornado came, and as we were walking out the door, Councilman Zahn said, "Mr. Impastato, would you come to the podium, please?" And so I did, and little did I know, and I think Mr. Morella can account for that's exactly what happened. Little did I know they had some questions concerning what happened during that week. So I was not giving any kind of report about the maintenance of the poles or anything like that. That's really not what was going on. And Councilman Reno is 100% right. Actually, the maintenance for utility poles is governed by cooperative endeavor agreements between the utility companies. It could be Cox, it could be anybody. So that's a separate issue altogether. But I did give some comments on what happened within District 5 as Councilman Conley and I had some issues we had to address and spent 72 hours of pretty intense work trying to get that addressed. So that's what we did. I just wanted to make sure everyone understood what went on at the meeting and what the nature of that discussion was, and that's basically it. So,
Thank you. Let me do one thing here. Councilmember DeFranchis, you have the floor.
I'm just going to be very quick. Because of the storm, I went through District 5 where the major tornadoes hit, and the problems were quite severe. People were absolutely devastated with what happened with Every Right, and then into District 4, we had problems as well. And we went to, again, see those problems and see what we could do to address them. But I just wanted to mention, too, that I asked my assistant to put in writing that I wanted a formal something formal from Entergy to indicate exactly what their maintenance program is. Because, you know, everyone here has talked to Entergy multiple times. I know I did too when I was on the council during past storms. And they talk in general terms about what their maintenance program is like. But we never received anything formal that says this is the procedure we follow, this is the maintenance program that we have in place. And so when I called, I asked for them to give this council, not just me, but this council exactly in writing what their maintenance program happens to be. And we have not received it yet, so I have not been able to share it with my fellow councilmen. But I am hoping that we will get that shortly. And if we don't, we will be sending a second request from my office. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember DeFrances. Seeing no other discussion, motion by Councilmember DeFrances, second by Councilmember Reyno to close the meeting. Adjourn.